Arsenal 2, Fulham 2, unprofessional, arrogant. That's what I put in the thumbnail. I'll get right into it, people. No intro today because this is a raw match reaction. So, for those of you that are watching this, bear in mind this is like for half an hour after the final whistle went when I was watching it anyway. Half an hour to 45 minutes. And as you can probably tell, very, very disappointed with that result in the end. The performance wasn't great. I'll get into that as well, people. But to not win a game in that scenario where you're coming up against 10 men and you're 2-1 up with 12 minutes or so to go, with added time included, and to concede a corner in that situation and concede from that corner is for me unprofessional. And that's the first part of that. But I'm going to start from talking about the starting lineup when I first saw that this afternoon, and I was quite excited. I thought, Jakub Kivior, that was the switch that I was thinking of and that I thought would happen, given the fact that Zinchenko has only played 9 minutes of football since the 7th of May, which was against Newcastle in that 2-0 victory. And that was his 9 minutes that came up against at Crystal Palace on Monday. So I didn't think he'd come straight from the start. So I thought Jakub Kivior, who's played a lot of preseason games and mainly coming in for over Gabriel just because of Arteta not wanting to change too much with our build-up play. He obviously doesn't believe that Gabriel is not there yet at the level to do what's required in the role that he wants in that left-hand side. And I can see where he comes from with that because of Gabriel's he's the weakest out of the defenders that we have in terms of ball progression and build-up play, sorry. And yeah, this allows us to have that extra attacker basically covering sort of like two positions in there. And whilst Zinchenko is not yet up to full fitness, we're having Thomas Partey inverting alongside Declan Rice. But then the change that did surprise me was seeing Leandro Trossard get brought in. And the reason that did surprise me, and I was quite gutted as well about that, because with Trossard, he had a fantastic preseason. And I thought he should have started the game against Nottingham Forest, but I understood why he went with Martinelli from tactical reasons. And I think I was starting to get an understanding about that from when I first saw the team sheet. Okay, tactically, he wants more fluidity in the attack, so Kai Havertz to take up that central position, and Trossard and Martinelli, when they do play together, they interchange quite well and have a good relationship and understanding of when Trossard peels out wide, Martinelli comes into the middle and takes that focal central area. And then you see vice versa, the mix between there. And you think maybe that will help Kai Havertz. But that didn't actually happen throughout the game. And the first major event that happened in that match was Bukayo Saka's mistake, playing it back, a poor pass, playing it to Andreas Pereira, the former Manchester United man who had a great season last year for Fulham. Went and took an early shot and caught Ramsdale off guard completely. And the error from that moment and that sloppiness, it continued really throughout the whole game, if you think of it. And it was at its worst in that first half. We was much better in the second half, in my opinion, but there was still that element of sloppiness, and that contributed into the equaliser for Fulham as well. But yeah, that was a moment of madness. And this is why I think Arsenal, this is what we really need to stamp out of our game. Seriously, 3 goals within the first minute in a calendar year. That has never been done before. Bournemouth, Southampton, and now Fulham, all at home as well. The concentration levels at home are abysmal, and you see a complete different performance away from home, where we were down to 10 men against Crystal Palace, concentrated from the very minute. Yes, there's been errors like with how Saliba is, but he's able to recover from that. And then you don't really see that throughout the remainder of the game, even with 10 men, when you think the energy levels are going to be quite low and they've had to remain concentrated for a long time, and you're coming under pressure at that point. Whereas this, we're creating our own downfall in the very first minute in the games, and you cannot start like that in the Premier League in these games against a Fulham, a Bournemouth, and a Southampton, because that's what they feed off. They're already coming here with a mentality of, all right, we're gonna have to dig in, we're gonna have to work hard, we're gonna be disciplined in our mid to low block. They're gonna have to try and break us down, and we're gonna have to try and cause them a problem on the counter attack and set pieces. But if we're starting the game off like that on the wrong foot, the crowd get anxious, and you know, every bad mistake, you hear moans and groans, and that was one thing I was noticing from, you know, sitting from my armchair and those at the crowd. I understand the emotion of it, because I was there and I was feeling the same issues too, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear people who were at the game. I wasn't too impressed with how the crowd were reacting to certain things, but they did stay by them. And when we got in, equalised and got in front, they were electric, and they pushed us forward from there. But in that first half, I think that how the crowd felt and how the whole team felt was very, you know, this isn't going to be our day. We're very sloppy. We're not quite understanding the patterns of play yet in this new formation, this new system that we're playing, with Partey inverting from the right, and Declan Rice moving over, and not having anyone take up that central zone and be in between their block. Do you know what I mean? The opposition. So we're kind of working our way outside of it, having players like Martinelli and Odegaard drop into there. But there was a lot of sloppiness at play today. A lot of players were not on it. And in that first half, the only player that I really felt was sharp, and in that first 45 minutes, was Odegaard. Saka worked hard as well on that right to try and rectify his mistake. But the real poor performance for me, in terms of lacking that sharpness and that understanding, was Leandro Trossard and Kai Havertz. Leandro Trossard, you can kind of say, you know, it's his first minutes of Premier League football this season, for a start in a competitive game this season. So in this new system, he's still going to try and get to grips with the midfielders that are in and around him, you know, and I can understand that, but he was poor. He was probably the worst player, unfortunately, and it's sad to say, in Leandro Trossard. But then Kai Havertz, the crowd got seriously frustrated with him at one point, and his performance just seemed to go down from there. There was a big opportunity that he missed, which, did he miss? I'm not sure, but it looked like from where the camera is positioned, he had to score. That cross from deep, he had to score. It looked like an open net, but I think it was good defending by Diaby. I can't really say, like, for sure, for certain, if Diaby didn't get a touch to it, but I was disappointed with that first half display. And then the changes happened. Well, the first change was Eddie Nketiah. He's one of the bright sparks. I want to end this on a positive note, but big up everyone that is here locked in and loading right now. I will get into your comments in a bit as well, guys. Don't worry, that's for sure. But that sloppiness is something that is really affecting us at the Emirates in particular. Sharp away from home, it's concentrated in our defending, diligent in how we play, because we know we have to, because we're the away side, and we seem to perform better in games that we're kind of expected to win and dominate away from home. If I look at this fixture last season, Arsenal and Fulham, Arsenal won this by 2-1, and we were quite fortunate in the end. It took a last-minute winner from Gabriel after he made that mistake to allow Mitrovic to score, and the same thing happened from the off. I don't know what Arteta needs to do, but the players are not concentrated, and it's a weakness within their game. And if we're going to win, trying to aim to win the league, we need to grow up from these situations and show proper maturity and due diligence and professionalism at the beginning of these fixtures. I want to also, guys, I just want to talk more about the second half performance here, because it was much better. Arsenal created enough chances within the 99 minutes, 100 minutes to win the game. We did. Leandro Trossard had a big opportunity as well in the first half. And then the second, when Eddie Nketiah was on, built again, sharpness. It was brilliant how linking up play, just actual being a focal point, allowing Martinelli to stay out wide. And then after that, the next substitutions that were made, it was I'm just trying to have a look here. The next substitution. So after Nketiah was brought on at halftime, it was Zinchenko and Vieira, and they came on for Thomas Partey and Kai Havertz. And those two, yeah, they struggled. And I feel like Fulham, when they looked at, but mainly in particular with Thomas Partey, that was the space that they could try to attack as he inverted there when there is a transition. And when you are being sloppy, you cannot. The key thing and why Arteta's put this out and playing this formation is because you need to be able to protect that ball a lot more, and you can't lose it in that middle third of the pitch because you are vulnerable to counter attacks down that right hand side in particular. And Thomas Partey is getting a lot of stick and a lot of flack for that. And for me, it's not Thomas Partey's fault. It's not even his. And to be honest, I don't really think it's too much to do with Arteta. It's the individuals. Maybe we've got to hypothesize here in terms of why these players aren't ready, why they're not at their sharpest, why they are being so sloppy in possession. Is it something to do with the preparation? I'm not sure. Is it something to do with they're still not ready and still getting the teething issues of this new system, which happens. Guys, I'm not going to panic overly too much about the new system that we're playing, because when teams implement a new system, it does take a while sometimes, to really understand and stop and understand where you're supposed to be, the relationships and the patterns of play. So you are going to have moments of sloppiness, but overall, we should still be winning that game, even with that poor first half. Thanks to Eddie Nketiah making a massive difference off the bench, and the man of the match for Arsenal in Fabio Vieira. But to concede a goal like that in the second one, after they're down to 10 men, Calvin Bassey picks up the red card. That is poor. And it starts from Zinchenko giving it away, being sloppy, showing this is where the arrogance comes in, because he came on and he was really good. Alexander Zinchenko, he was making a massive difference, inverting into that midfield and causing and playing the ball forward and helping us sustain a lot of our attacks. And that helped us to get to the 2-1 lead. But then when you're just down 10 men, this is where we're looking at the team that won this league 5 times out of 6, Manchester City. What will they do? Even with 11 men, 11 against 11, they're playing the ball, moving it from side to side, making sure that the opposition are just getting dragged out. And then whenever there's an opportunity to play it through, being patient, making them press and force you, then they will punish you, and they'll get a chance, or they'll score the third, and then it's easy street from there. And it should be 3-1, 2-1 at the minimum in how we're managing that game. And that is given away corner to Fulham. Guys, this is why I said it reminds me so much about the Southampton game. Look at the goals that we've conceded. Guys, I really want to emphasize on this. Look at the silly mistakes and the errors that we're conceding from. This is where it's a problem now, because I'm not seeing this I'm not seeing this sorted, and I don't really think it's systemically. Look at the goals. It's nothing to do with the system, what the goals that we've conceded. Sometimes you need to look at it like that. Yes, we're not as free-flowing and creating as many chances and pinning the opposition back as we were to begin with at the start of the season. Like last season, I mean, sorry. But this, it's unacceptable. No matter what formation and stuff you play, it don't matter. You cannot concede silly, stupid goals like that. Yeah, it was really frustrating. But guys, I'm going to get into the comments now. Big up to everyone. Big up to Eagle Eye Nate. Big up to you. Sounds like Fulham gave you more of a game than some of your players expected. Yeah, every game in the Premier League's difficult. It has its challenges, has its difficulties. Even Luton versus Chelsea yesterday, it was 1-0 up until the 60th minute, and then when they grabbed that second goal, when you have that cushion and you extend it, then you have that little bit of breathing room, and that finished the game. And that's Luton, who are everybody's favourites to go down, and a lot of people saying could be the worst team the Premier League's seen. So, and this is Fulham, who have had great away performances last season, had a fantastic season. Marco Silva's got him doing diligently defending. João Palhinha, what a player, what a midfielder, massive addition into them. And the goal he deserved, overall man of the match, of course, out of both teams. But that's where you have to show respect, and you have to be on your level, on your game, with the pure intensity for the full 99 minutes. What this game is now. Big up Drizzy in the place, says you'll beat us next week. I'm confident about that, because when it's in the big games, that's when our players, especially when in a game, a situation like that, unless we're playing Man City, we're going to be fully concentrated. Do you know what I mean? And that's where I kind of want to say to people, the system is not at its fluid best, but the system has done enough for us to get results. Let's be clear about that, to get these wins. We should be on 3 wins out of 3 right now, and the system's not the factor in us not winning today. It's lack of concentration in key moments, in key areas. Marco Masterclass says, Pax, we continue to concede too many goals at home. We can't challenge for the title. I also think Diet Pep will make too many wrong team selections and poor in game management calls to beat City. Okay, we do concede too many goals at home, and yeah, if we continue to be like this in our concentration, we can't challenge for the title. We won't. But what I will say is, let's not overly too much here, because it's 3 games into the season, and if you are going to iron out these kinks and get them out, yes, it's something to be a cause for concern, but it's nothing to melt down about in terms of the title challenge. Because it's a long season. A lot of football will still be played, but it's something that needs working on, because it's something that's carried over from last year as well in these scenarios. I'm sorry for the connection, guys. I hate the fact that he keeps doing this, and I'm connected to the Ethernet cable as well, so I'm not quite sure why this is happening. I still worry about a lot about next week. We aren't at our best, but Arsenal, if you want to win the league, get the extra goal needed, especially against 10 men. That's what my biggest gripe is, Pax. 10 men. You're 2-1 up against 10 men. And your sloppiness, again, that's shown that first half, is not good enough. It's not good enough indeed. And big up Casey in the building. I think United will beat it 4. No, that Luke, come on. I understand you're hurt. I understand you're frustrated. Let's be serious now. United just had to beat Nottingham Forest, who were down to 10 men too. Like, come on. Let's not. We just still created enough chances to win this game, and we should have. Do you know what I mean? And if it's not that Fulham were the better side in that, it's not that they were. They kept their game plan, what they wanted to do, and it worked out perfectly for them. Take advantage in the first minute, and then have a lead to hold on to, get the crowd frustrated. Then the second half, the substitutions made a massive impact. All of them, bar Gabriel Jesus, really had the big impacts in the game. So, and Jorginho, who both of them came on really late, and Jorginho came on to help close out the game and help keep possession. But yeah, those little bits, those errors have so many knock-on effects, and we've seen it. Bournemouth, I remember, bro. Oh my days! In the 2 games, Southampton, Fulham, and Bournemouth. I've just clocked. Southampton, we conceded in the first minute, and we conceded from set pieces. So this shows it's a mental issue. That's what concerns me. It's a mental issue where they're not concentrated. It's nothing to do with even quality or the system. In fact, we played how we played against Bournemouth and how we played against Southampton, how we played against Fulham, are all different systems. Against Bournemouth, we had Saliba. Vieira was there, and he was having a bit of a hard time. And then look at the difference he's made today. But the goals that we conceding at home, I don't know why they're not sharp enough already. That's something that Arteta really needs to sort out for me. That is something. Casey laughing. Havertz is not affected. I've tried to open, but once again, we need to stop jumping to conclusions on 3 games. Even after a season, I've said this. I understand if he's not your type of player, that's fine. But listen, Luke, and all respect to you and everyone else, everyone was saying Fabio Vieira's not it. Look what he's just done today. I've had it up to here of people telling me Eddie Nketiah's not it. Look at the impact he's made today. But let's stop this flip flop nature of what. I'm not really feeling this player. As soon as they put a bad performance in, nah. That's it. You know what I mean? Like so you're telling me they have the expectations to put them at a 10 out of 10 every week. But then Bukayo Saka is very consistent and someone who I love to bits. And he's my favourite Arsenal player. Wasn't great against Crystal Palace. The jury's not out on him. Do you get me? So do you understand what I'm saying? Because it's someone that we love and we hold dear close to our heart. There was not great performances. Havertz wasn't the only one. There's a lot of fan favourites who weren't performing well today. Don't worry, Tereak. The comeback ain't for everyone. Big up, realist. Big up, CM in the building. Conceding to 10 men, pathetic. Ramsdale's too far forward. That first goal could have been scored every single time we play. Mistakes. Ramsdale's positioning isn't an issue because he's not. That's why what's he meant to be positioning all the way back there for? Like if he's meant to be a part of the play, if Saka just plays it normally and how he should have started in Nketiah. I agree, man. I agree. Is Arteta doing too much? This is it. Like, to be honest, if we were trying a new system out and it's not formulating our best results because our players are still trying to understand and learn. So I don't think so. Personally, I think long term it will help us because once again, I'm looking at Manchester City, the team that everyone we're trying to beat. They're the benchmark. When they were playing Bernardo Silva at left back and they originally moved into this formation where they had someone inverting into that position there, a lot of people were saying Pep's doing too much. Haaland makes his team worse. Overall, what happened? It happened. It helped them in the end to find out that balance. And then when it clicked, then they were unstoppable, and they are still continuing to be unstoppable. But it took a while for them to click. It took a while for them to get at the level that they were at. Do you understand what I mean? So I think it's easy. I think what fans will look at and say is, you know what, let's just go back to do what that got us into this position. But it ultimately didn't get us over the line, did it? And new season, new ideas, new thoughts. Teams know exactly how you play. They would have studied you. There's a load more evidence to set up against the formation that you've got. Even Manchester City have to evolve every year. Manchester City, Liverpool have had to. Even the difference between Liverpool when they won the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, with the team the year that they were competing for 4 trophies, different team to the one that won the league in that lockdown period. So yeah, I feel like the Premier League is such a high level, and managers are so clued up and clued on. The opposition have so much information and data that you have to almost evolve. So I don't think there's doing too much. I'm not even too mad at the Partey thing because I thought there was a lot of times he stopped counter attacks and he was there to bring his control the ball, bring it down. We got the ball out to Saka a lot. Ødegaard had a lot of touches and had a big influence on the game as well, I thought. But just we couldn't get that final pass or the shot off right. We're not at our sharpest. And I remember, in fact, even when we did start the season really well, Rich, there was a lot of people saying that as well. Oh, Saka, he's not at the level because we weren't quite our sharpest at this point. And it was maybe the Brentford game, I'd say. The Brentford game is where we really started to see us at our sharp best away from home, and that was September time. So maybe I'm hoping so. Diet Pet Records. We played 10 times better today than last season at home to Fulham. Nah, yeah, we did though. We created more chances today than we did against Fulham. We were quite lucky to get a win against Fulham last year. We were. It took a deflected effort, yeah, and then I got a last minute header from a goal that was a scramble in that situation. We maintained pressure. We dominated the ball a lot more in their final third, and we were able to create enough chances. Like if I have a look right now, if we look at statistics, Arsenal 19 shots, 11 shots on target. Yeah, 11 shots on target. Yes, a few of them were from distance, but if you want something, how many expected goals? Arsenal were expected to get 3.25 goals. Expected 3.25 goals. Yeah, we had a penalty in there. What's that? 2.25 still without a penalty. And then Fulham 0.53. Half a goal. Yeah, like, bro, that's what I'm saying. And that's come from the corner, essentially. It's this stupidity and lapses in concentration. You cannot do that if you're going to try and win the league. You can't do it too often within a season. The new system is not working. I don't like Arteta's tactics. Full stop. It's unbalanced. Too easy to get in behind. I don't think it is that easy though to stop us from creating chances, and ultimately goals win you games. If players are, how many chances do Fulham really create in that game? How many? That weren't when it weren't chasing the game. Do you know what I'm saying? Like or let's say not when we weren't chasing the game. How many? Because the only one I can think of apart from the goal is apart from the corner and the first one is Adama towards the end, quick free kick. This is where Manchester United and Arsenal are similar. The system has taken a while to adapt. We just have we do have a lot of injuries as well. Yeah, you have quite a few injuries. We've got Tomiyasu and we've had the likes of Zinchenko, Jesus, who are still working their way back. And these players are key to the system as well, Pax. It's true. Saka turnover, Rami caught, and we came on the back. Simple. Yeah, it's true. Big up Moss, man. Chino in the building. He's laughing. Man United fan. Look what happens. Let's have a look. We'll see what Arsenal are professionally messing it up. Yeah, overthinking a bit. Look, Man United awful versus Wolves 1. Spurs chances not great. Forest pickpocketed way until into 4th gear. I think you can kind of look at that in Arsenal perspective as well. It is hard and it is frustrating, and I do get what like Luke's and every other fan's frustrations with this that feel the same way. But I'm trying to look at it now. I've got my little anger out the way. Very early into the season, we're trying a new system out. If we're trying something that I think will help us in the long term, but in the short term, we'll take some pain. And if you'd have said that to a lot of fans at the start of the season, they would have taken it because it's always about how you end the season, not how you start. As long as you got enough points to be in the race, and that's what Manchester City did. They had enough points to be within the title race, and you're ready to hit your peak in playoff time, playoff season. You know what I mean? We all follow American sports. A lot of us do, whether it's our NBA, NHL, NFL. When it's playoff time, that's when you get to your best. And that's what the end of the season is, when you're in the latter stages of the cup competitions, and with about less than 15 games left to go within the season, to 10 games. So I think this will help us once we do get to grips with it and everyone has a better understanding. And we've seen more of the likes of Kivior playing within here, Tomiyasu, Trossard, Vieira, and the likes of. But yeah, I just want to also say and kind of end it towards this point because my connection is doing an absolute madness so far. I hope the audio sounds okay. Yeah, it does. But yeah, the visuals are terrible. Can I just say that Vieira and Eddie Nketiah, yeah, guys, those of you that cost me for that and cost me, especially for Eddie Nketiah in that. Do you see what I'm saying? See the importance of Eddie Nketiah and the ability that he has and the mentality that he has. He's been dropped today. He ain't a sulk. He's like, okay, I'm being called upon. I'm going to step up and be there in the big moments. And he was. And he made an impact off that bench. He did. G Wills, too many excuses. Arteta is killing us. It's clear. How he's playing our best midfielder at RB helping us. It's clear this approach doesn't work. I don't think it is clear that it doesn't work though, because what makes you believe that it doesn't work? Is it based on results? Is it based on results? Because if it is, look at the goals that we conceded, G Wills. All I'm going to say is the goals that we conceded are exactly the same goals that we conceded to Bournemouth in the system that everyone wants us to go back to, and Southampton in the system that everyone wants us to go back to, with Saliba, without Saliba in there. What is it that you want? Because the system isn't the issue for the goals that we've conceded. Is it deep? Where does the system break down for the goals that we've conceded? That's what I'm saying. Think about it. And yes, it's not as pretty, or we're not as free flowing as we were at the beginning. But we are trying to add more unpredictability and versatility into our game and not be one-dimensional, which is what we were last year when we got figured out towards the end of the season. We're missing key players. When we missed Zinchenko, when we missed Saliba, we weren't even if the season went on longer with those players injured, we wouldn't have finished second. Do you know what I mean? Eddie is good as a good player, just needs to be more clinical. He took his chance today. Yeah, he does need to be more clinical, but I feel like, as I said, I'm happy that my striker's getting into those positions, and that's what I need. And that's what I need from when Jesus gets in there as well. When Jesus gets back into the team, get into those positions and take those chances. And then if you create enough chances, you'll score eventually. And as long as you're, in the big moments, I guess. And as long as you're defensively aware and switched on to not concede the first goal and not to concede from a corner, that's where the set piece is. That's where we need to work on. Do you know what I mean? It's a 2-1 victory without. I know it's, if my auntie had, I don't want to say that because it's a bit of an archaic term, but it's stupid lapses again, guys. That's what's frustrating us. We'll be too far behind to challenge playing the way we are before the system works, if it ever does. Okay, patience, guys. We need. If we're there, if it gets to that point, all man's up. But calm down. Yeah, I'm serious. Partey was out of position for the first goal due to him going in midfield. Listen, shifting Partey to what right back weakens both the midfield and right back position. How does that help? I don't believe it does weaken the midfields. I don't believe it does, because that's what we're able to dominate so much and create chances through that midfield and progress the ball up to Saka and our best creative players in Saka and Ødegaard. And where does that come from? Your midfield. Like, it doesn't. If that's where the supply, do you get me? Like, come on, we know this, yeah. Guys, we've watched football for a long time. Your striker is redundant. Your best attackers are redundant if the midfield can't play the ball to them. And that's what we're actually able to get the ball to our best players a lot of the time. It's not working out. They're not playing. They're not at their sharpest yet. We haven't seen Ødegaard at his brilliant best. We haven't seen Saka. We haven't seen Martinelli at their brilliant best. And that's because we're still building. It's still earlier on into the season. It's still early. 3 games in. Yes, that first goal, Partey steps up. But it's not like Saka's meant to play that pass to Ben White. And it's a poor pass. And that's where Andres Pereira's capitalized on that. That's what it is. It's a poor pass. If we fix those things and get those things sorted and get the sloppiness sorted out of our game, get that eradicated, it's not that bad. Tereak, Fulham are all right. João Palhinha, he's excellent. João Palhinha, he's brilliant, outstanding midfielder, breaking up play, putting out a lot of fires on our right-hand side with Ødegaard and Saka. Big up to yourself, Shay, man. Bless up. 6 subscribers. Big up to those people who are new. Even if we had won, I'd be saying the same. To challenge City, we need to win these first 3 games 5-0. But no, but Luke, did Man City do that? Did Man City do that for the first half of the season? Did Man City do it? No. Man City were drawing to Everton. Man City lost at home to Brentford. Man City had to have a last-minute penalty to beat Fulham last year as well. Man City were far from perfect. Man City would draw into Nottingham Forest. Come on, man. Let's come on. This, like, we're not gonna be perfect. No team is, and we're not even there yet. I still feel like we need to do business in the window before we have a complete squad. At least one signing, at least and that's to provide cover. We should be done enough. I know it's not great. We're not at our fluid best. We're not at our brilliant best. But what would you rather be? What, last season, our brilliant best and tank, and then completely gas out for what we did to the end of the season? Because we gassed out. Let's be honest. That's what happened. We gassed. We expended way too much in the opening games and the first half of the season. 19 games played, 50 points. Yeah, ridiculous levels at a crazy intensity. That's what we need to sort, man. That's as long as we just stay within the title race, come end game of the season, stay within there. And if we can be in front, even better. And then make sure we can go and hit our best and go and be relentless towards that second half. That's what I want. That's what it is. Manchester United have 13 Premier League titles. How many of them seasons did they start off amazing? How many? Not many at all. I remember us when we were amazing at the start of the seasons, and then Man United to go and still win the league. That's what it takes to win. We know that. You've seen Arsenal be successful, Luke. If you have a look at those seasons where we were our most successful, we were doing the same thing. We weren't starting house on fire. Do you know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying with the new system. Come on, man. Just stay strong. Oh, this is what if you stay strong, then you deserve to win. Yeah, I mean, don't fold in these moments. Stick together. We're back in the team, and yes, we'll criticize when the criticism is needed. That there's definitely points where we can criticize as well, and that's why I'm hearing it. G Will, bro, what I'm saying is Partey in the midfield with Rice and Odegaard is a deadly midfield. Why mess with that combination? Why? But this is where I'll go to, G Wills. If we looked at where Partey's playing predominantly, don't you feel that Partey's in there a lot of the time? Yes, he's on paper playing right back, but how much time is he spending in midfield? That's what I mean. That's what I mean by that. I feel like what will happen, G Wills, even disregarding this result anyway, I feel we're going to go to our back four. You know, Gabriel comes back in and Zinchenko at left back, and then Rice, Odegaard, and Partey back into their starting positions in the midfield against Man United anyway. I thought that anyway, even if we went and slapped Fulham 7-0, I said it on Twitter. I said that's exactly what's going to happen. I think we're going to start our quote-unquote best team in those situations, because against teams like Man United, who aren't just going to sit back, who aren't just going to say, come on, you break us down, they're actually going to try and pose a threat going forward and have a little bit of possession. That's where we need our strongest, our strongest in terms of the best defender, best transitions midfielders that we've got in Partey and Rice. And then we take one less attacker out for that. And then if the game situation changes, then, we've got something to change with, and we've got something that we're getting familiar with. Whilst we can take out a Gabriel or take out a centre-back that can come in and add an extra attacker and something that we can transition in towards the game if the game state changes. Your favourite Arsenal player? Yeah, he was my man in the match, Fabio Vieira. Saka showed tremendous mentality, and once again, he never surprises me when he does that. Makes a mistake, head don't drop, keeps working, grabs the penalty under a pressured situation. That 8 weeks pay backdated. Do we look comfy with this setup? In possession, we should really, yeah. We don't. It's not. I don't. When you say do we look comfy, no, because we're still adapting. We're still taking time. 3 games into the season, guys. 3 games. And that's 3 games that we've used this system for. 3 games. Come on, man. Let's be patient with it. let's not judge it straight away. 3 games and we got 7 points on the board out of 9. Do you know what I mean? Yes, we wanted 9 out of 9. We want to win every game possible. And then if we are to draw, we draw to the likes of Man United. But if I said to you now, let's focus on that Man United game. Yeah. If whatever happens, we get 3 points against United. If you're telling me we got, 10 points out of 12 in our first 4 games, you're taking that. You're taking that all day. That's good. It's a good level, good pace to be at for the season. And then hopefully we can kick on and go on our run of games towards the end. Tereak, who will finish higher? Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal, Brentford. I believe Arsenal will. I still believe Arsenal. Spurs are playing well at the moment. Then once again, they're not perfect. They're very good going forward, and they look sharper than us going forward in their attack. But they look they've got instabilities in that team as well. Man United should have scored 2 goals easily in that first half. People may forget. Brentford could have scored more. Bournemouth had chances too. And all them teams have had more chances than what we've let against us. Do you get me? So, and yeah, United will just sit back and pick us off. It'll be easy pickings. That's why I wouldn't surprise. No, they're not going to sit back. They're not going to do that. They don't. That's not how Erik. They didn't even just sit back against us last year. They didn't even do that. They will try. They will try and press us high. That's what they will do. G Wills, if Arteta wants to play that way and invert right back, go out and get one. Our Partey is our midfield general. He controls games when he's marshalling that midfield. Plus, he has those line breaking passes. And this is where I agree with you. I agree with you. Like in certain games, I understand that. Man United, Man City. I don't want to see Partey playing right back against Man City. I don't want to see him. I don't really want to see him playing right back against Man United. But Fulham is a different game, different animal. Different. You have to set up differently for different opponents. That was the issue that we had over the years, where we set up the same way for the same opponents. Do you know what I mean? We just need to make sure they pose us different problems. If we can have an extra attacker and that will be able to, when it all gets clicking, we have that far more balance and we're able to suffocate teams. That's what I think we'll be able to do eventually. But guys, I am going to wrap it up though here because my connection is moving mad. But yeah, man of the match, Fabio Vieira. And I want to say big up to Fabio Vieira and Eddie Nketiah, both coming off the bench. Both a lot of the people within the fan base don't really rate and would want to see us move on. But Arteta certainly has good faith in them, and that's good, a positive, guys, into the squad depth that we're going to be looking for this season, because we never had squad depth last year. We didn't really, apart from when we brought on the likes of Trossard and we bought Jorginho, we didn't see the best out of Fabio Vieira. Hopefully this kickstarts his Arsenal career. He looks so much more confident going into the box, taking risks in that final area and final third, and you can just see it in his body language as he's on the pitch. Fabio Vieira was excellent when he came off the bench. And so was Eddie Nketiah, looking very sharp as well at the start of this season, guys. Let's not forget some of these positives as well. Let's not, because there are positives that you can take even from these situations in a game that you should definitely win. I'm with you on that. But we will. Let's stick with the team. You've got to ride it through these moments. You ride it, and it'll be sweeter towards the end if you want to be there at the party. But guys, we've got to keep going. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will catch you when my head is not as hot. So take care, people. Peace.